In a small American town, a pastor's family lives a quiet, faithful life, until one day, their world changes forever. When their little boy faces death, he returns with a story that no one can explain. A story of light, peace, and heaven itself. Was it a miracle, a vision, or the voice of truth through the heart of a child? Greater than this is not just a story about faith. It's about a father searching for answers. A child who saw something beyond this world. And a message that touched millions. Heaven is for Real 2014 movie explanation based on a true story. The movie opens in a quiet town called Imperial, Nebraska. We meet Todd Burpo, a kind-hearted pastor who lives a simple life with his wife Sonia and their 2 children, Cassie and little Colton. Todd is respected in the community, but life isn't easy. He juggles multiple jobs to support his family, working as a garage door repairman, a high school wrestling coach, and preaching on Sundays. The opening tone feels peaceful, but underneath, it hints at challenges waiting to unfold. We see moments of warmth, Todd helping people, Colton playing joyfully, and Sonia teaching the church choir. Todd preaches about heaven, love, and the grace of God. His faith feels strong, but also very human, not perfect, but sincere. Meanwhile, bills pile up, and Todd begins to feel the pressure of life's struggles. The movie slowly builds the contrast between believing in heaven and experiencing it for real. One day, the Burpo family goes on a short vacation to Colorado. They laugh, enjoy roller coasters, and live freely for a moment. But soon after returning, things start to go wrong. Colton begins to feel unwell, complaining of stomach pain and fever. At first, they think it's just the flu. But within days, his condition worsens. In the middle of the night, Colton collapses in pain. Todd and Sonia rush him to the hospital. Panic, fear, and confusion fill the air. Doctors suspect a burst appendix, and they rush him into emergency surgery. Todd tries to stay strong, but inside, he's breaking. He storms out of the hospital chapel, shouting at God, "Why him, Lord? He's just a little boy." It's a raw, emotional moment, a pastor questioning the very faith he preaches. As Colton lies on the operating table, the scene slows down. We see flashes of bright light, soft music, a sense of calm beyond this world. Meanwhile, in the waiting room, Todd and Sonia hold hands, praying desperately. Hours pass. Finally, the doctor comes out and says the surgery was successful, Colton has survived. The family rejoices, unaware that something extraordinary has just happened. Back home, Colton slowly recovers. He smiles again, plays with his sister, and life returns to normal, at least on the surface. But small, strange moments begin to happen. Colton talks about things he shouldn't know, things that no one told him. At first, the parents think it's just the imagination of a child. But then, everything changes with one quiet conversation. One afternoon, while riding in the car, Colton says softly, "Dad, do you know I almost died?" Todd, surprised, turns to him, "What do you mean?" Colton replies calmly, "I went to heaven." Todd laughs nervously, thinking it's childlike fantasy, but Colton insists. He says, "I sat on Jesus' lap." The car goes silent. Sonia looks back at him in disbelief. For Todd, a man of faith, this moment marks the beginning of deep confusion, faith colliding with reality. At home, Colton begins to describe heaven with vivid detail. He says there were colors beyond imagination, angels singing, and everyone looked happy. He saw Jesus, who had pretty eyes, and a horse that's all white. He also says he met people, including a girl who hugged him, saying she was his sister. Todd and Sonia freeze. They had lost a baby through miscarriage years ago, something they never told Colton. Now, they realize he's talking about her. Todd begins to question everything. How could this be real? He reads scripture after scripture, searching for answers. He visits the hospital records, trying to understand if Colton had a near-death experience. At the same time, he tries to act normal in church, but his sermons sound uncertain. The same man who once spoke confidently about heaven now struggles to comprehend it through his own son's words. News spreads through the town. The pastor's son says he saw heaven. Some people believe, others mock. Church elders become uncomfortable, fearing Todd's story will divide the congregation. Sonia, trying to protect her husband and son, urges him to stay quiet. But Todd can't. Something inside him tells him this is real, that his son truly saw the glory of God. Still, he's torn between faith and fear, afraid of what people will think, yet unable to deny the truth. Days pass, but Todd can't forget Colton's words. He replays every detail in his mind. I saw Jesus, he had beautiful eyes. Todd starts to question his own faith. He's a pastor, but now he's the one filled with doubt. In his sermons, his voice trembles. He avoids speaking about heaven, afraid that people will think he's lost his mind. Sonia notices the change. The man who once preached hope now looks lost himself. One evening, Todd gently asks Colton, what was heaven like? The boy answers with simple innocence. There were lots of colors. Everyone was happy. Nobody was scared. He adds that angels sang songs for him, and Jesus told him everything would be okay. Then, out of nowhere, Colton says he saw his dad preaching, and saw his mom singing in church at the same time. Todd and Sonia realize, Colton somehow saw them while he was in surgery. It's impossible, yet undeniable. A few weeks later, Todd tries to help Colton describe what Jesus looked like. He shows paintings and drawings of Jesus, but Colton shakes his head every time. Then one day, Todd finds a story online about a young girl from Lithuania named Akiana Kramaric, who also claimed to have seen heaven and painted Jesus' face from her vision. When Todd shows Colton her painting, the boy's eyes widen. He softly says, "That's him. That's Jesus." Todd stares at the screen, speechless. Colton's story reminds us that faith is not just something we talk about. It's something we experience, sometimes in ways we cannot explain. Greater than it's a story of love, courage, and the hope that even in the darkest moments, light prevails. Greater than and most importantly, it shows us that heaven is not just a distant dream. It's real, and it's closer than we think. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember, no matter where life takes you, faith, love, and hope will always guide your way.